Stan, although it actually relates to both talks, his last slide said that observational studies do not correct for multiple testing and multiple modeling, and you've done a lot of work in developing techniques that do take account of those. But what do you say about the fact that some of the most vocal leaders of the reform statistical significance methods are also saying don't adjust for multiple testing, which is tantamount to don't control for error probabilities? And insofar as that is true, do we really want to look to the managers, to some of the journal editors who also have certain axes to grind and might actually thwart the goals that you have?
We're in the middle of a mess. If you generalize from my analysis of the meta-analysis studies, I have yet to see a meta-analysis study where the base studies that go in correct for multiple testing. There are 5,000 of these studies done each year. Half of those studies are done on observational studies. So there are 2,500 studies per year. Each of these studies links back to 10 to 20 other studies. The base studies are wrong. The meta-analysis study is wrong. I don't know the motive. There are some editors that really want to fix things up, but there are a lot of editors that this is a bridge too far. And if you think about it, there have been various estimates about how much stuff can't be reproduced. And, my simple counting and the p-value plots indicate in a general way that probably half of the literature or 80% of the literature is without statistical support. That's the kind way to say it. Wrong is the other way to say it. That takes a lot of getting your head around things and trying to decide how you're going to do something about it. Now, the NIH recently proposed that you don't get funding from the NIH unless you have a data sharing plan, and if you don't execute your data sharing plan, you never get another nickel from them. Well, that is teeth from management.
Are you prepared to confront those managers or journal editors who say that we don't need to adjust for multiple tests?
I said they're simply wrong.
But are you prepared to confront them?
I have, over and over again. I've written letters to the editor where I confront two issues. I confront multiple testing, multiple modeling, and I confront lack of access to data. And I've got, this is guerrilla warfare, but I've done many of those things. And just think of the dichotomy. If you're doing a randomized clinical trial, you have to control all of this stuff. You have to control multiple testing. You have to control experimental technique. You have to control everything. Why do you get a pass if it's an observational study? You get to grab your data, and as Jim said, you get to massage your data. You get to publish your paper, and you don't give anybody else the data. That is insane. So the same journals that are ironclad on multiplicity control and everything on randomized clinical trials do a complete about-face on observational studies. It's insane. So I have confronted them, and I'm not getting very far.
So I think I'm the author of the most recent 2012 paper, extensive review of the whole multiple comparison problem. And our conclusion in that paper was that there exist no objective methods for controlling for multiple comparisons. And top statisticians going back many decades, especially ones from England, have also said pretty much the same thing. You can posit you're going to do these particular things, but these particular things are very subjective, choosing the way to do this. So this is a 2012 paper. I can send a copy to anybody who'd like to see it. But it's a very big issue because there are, where bureaucracies are involved, like FDA, for example, they get into a negative interaction between the bureaucrats and the statisticians, and that's what results in all these hyper-convoluted methods that are
Yeah,
in
okay.
vogue today.
We want to stand between you and lunch. I've heard those sorts of criticisms. My first answer is the enemy of the good is the perfect. There is no perfect way to correct for multiple testing. There are very good ways of doing it, and people throw that up because it's the enemy of the good is the perfect. And they say, well, you're not perfect, well, let's not do anything. That's insane.